Hello, I'm Alex Tarrant for interest.co.nz and welcome to a special report on commodity prices, and today we're going to look specifically at the price of coffee. Now, over the last month we've seen the wholesale price of coffee beans drop from, it was $1.40 per pound of coffee beans, and it's dropped now to just under $1.10. We've also seen milk prices have been dropping, also oil prices and interest rates have dropped. And we're wondering now, why haven't we seen the price of a cup of coffee dropping? We've seen everything else drop. Why hasn't this been passed on to my cup of coffee? Now, there's a number of reasons for this, and one of them is to do with how coffee beans are dealt, purchased and sold. In January to March generally represents the time of the year where coffee is bought and sold by wholesale traders, and so that March price generally dictates what the price is going to be what wholesalers in New Zealand who import the coffee at those March prices are going to sell on to the cafes in New Zealand. Now, in March of this year, we saw prices spike. They were $1.75 US per pound, and so that price is the one that is being passed on. We're seeing that high price, even though it dropped 65 cents over the last 6 months. That coffee price is still high. Also, another thing, New Zealand generally imports good coffee. We can pride ourselves on this, or it could come back to hit us. That means when global prices drop, New Zealand generally imports sort of in the top 10% range of global coffee. So that means we're much more susceptible to the supply and demand dynamics of that quality range coffee. And that when global coffee prices drop, it's not necessarily passed on to those the top of the range stuff that we get here in New Zealand. Milk prices, yes, we've seen they have dropped, and milk does make up a large proportion of how much my cup of coffee costs. So if milk prices have dropped, then why hasn't the cup of coffee dropped also? What we have seen is local inflation in other areas. We've seen labour costs rise, we've seen electricity costs rise, and that is all putting pressure on the cup of coffee. So it's not that possible to drop the price. So even though we've seen prices drop from March, or $1.75 per pound for coffee beans, down to $1.10, in New Zealand the average cup of coffee has not dropped. In fact, a few months ago the price was put up 50 cents by most cafes per cup. So we'll probably have to wait until the next buying season and shipping season of March next year, and we'll have to see what happens then. Until then, we can only watch electricity prices, we can only watch labour prices, and they're the ones that will keep the cup of coffee where it is. So even though we're seeing a general fall in commodity prices around the world, we've just seen oil drop. It's very much tied in. If the price of oil if the price of oil drops, we see it drop at the pump very quickly. With coffee, it's not the case. That March price set the price for the year, and so we're not going to see it in our cafes for some time yet. I'm Alex Tarrant. That was a special report on coffee prices, commodity prices, here in the wonderful Revel Cafe on K Road. You'll find me here on most Sunday mornings, and that's for interest.co.nz.